We're always told to boost our immune system, right? But what if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? What if immunity isn't some switch you flip, but a state of being you build day by day? Well, let's dive into a new user's guide for our own defenses.
We hear this metaphor all the time. Our immune system is an army, our cells are soldiers, and pathogens are invaders we have to go to war against. It's a really powerful image for sure, but is it actually accurate?
Well, the short answer is no. That whole army metaphor, as common as it is, makes us think health is just about constant fighting and warfare. It's pretty misleading because it totally misses the incredibly elegant, proactive system that's working for us 24/7.
Okay, so if it's not an army, what is it? A much better way to think about it is like a well-run city. See, an army just reacts to invaders when they show up. But a city? A city is all about proactively maintaining order. It keeps the streets clean, the power grid humming, and the communication lines clear. It's about systemic health, not just putting out fires.
So what builds and maintains this incredible internal city? The answer is really simple: food. But not just any food. We need something called food coherence. That means food the body can actually read and understand, where all the nutrients and signals are still intact. This is the high-quality raw material for a thriving internal city.
All right, let's see this city in action, starting right at the front gates. We'll look at our first responders, a group of enzymes called lysozymes. Think of them as the city's frontline sanitation crew, keeping everything in order before trouble can even get started.
What's so amazing about this defense is just how simple it is. Lysozyme, it's an enzyme found in your tears, your saliva, your airways, and it acts like a tiny microscopic pair of scissors. It just snips the cell walls of bacteria right at the main entry points to your body. The city gates, you could say, creating this constant protective wash.
And this shows you just how brilliantly it works. It's not some complicated battle. Lysozyme literally just finds a bacterium, makes one precise cut in its structural wall, and poof, the bacterium just falls apart. It's an incredibly efficient, proactive form of defense.
So how do we keep these first responders fueled up and ready to go? Well, look at the difference here. On one side, you have highly processed foods. They create what's called metabolic noise. It's like static, pollution, and traffic jams in our city. Your body has to waste resources just to clean up the mess. But on the other side, coherent, whole foods are like these clean, efficient supply lines, giving your body the perfect building blocks to keep that lysozyme production strong.
Okay, but what happens with a different kind of threat, one that manages to get past the city gates? Let's take a look at how the body deals with viruses, using a kind of citywide emergency broadcast system.
See, the unique danger of a virus is that it can't reproduce by itself. It has to break into one of your cells, one of the city's factories, and literally hijack the machinery to make more copies of itself.
Now, when a cell gets hijacked, it doesn't go down silently. It sends out these amazing molecules called interferons, and they're like an emergency broadcast, a shutdown command, and a warning signal all rolled into one. It's a super sophisticated response to an internal crisis.
And here's the strategy. It's brilliant. The infected cell bravely slows its own production down, basically sacrificing its own productivity to stop the virus from making copies. At the exact same time, it sends out that interferon signal to all the neighboring cells, warning them, hey, lock your doors, become harder targets. And what this does is create a containment zone, slowing the whole infection spread way down. And once again, the strength of this whole broadcast system comes down to its fuel. On the left, ultra-processed foods can actually damage our cellular power plants, the mitochondria, and that creates distorted, fuzzy signals. But on the right, coherent foods act like a clean power source, keeping our energy stable and making sure that emergency broadcast goes out crystal clear. So, this all leads to a really powerful conclusion. If your body is this incredible city, then that makes you the city planner. Your daily choices are what directly determine the health and resilience of its entire infrastructure. And this brings us to a really important shift in thinking. Food safety regulators, they tend to ask, is this thing immediately toxic? Will it make you sick right now? But biology asks a much deeper, more important question. Does this food disrupt the long-term order and communication within the entire system?
Because here's the thing, immunity isn't something you just boost with a pill. It's something that emerges naturally when these foundational conditions are met. When your body can actually read its fuel, when its enzymes can do their jobs properly, when energy is stable, and when all the communication signals are clear. That is the true foundation of order and health.
So let's be absolutely clear. The defenses we've been talking about, those lysozyme scissors and the interferon signals, they are not isolated weapons that you just pull out of an armory when there's an emergency.
They are the living, breathing expressions of the health of the entire system. And that system only works as well as the quality of the food, the materials you use to sustain it every single day.
So when you look at it this way, you can see that immunity is not a battle strategy. It's not about fighting an endless series of wars inside your body.
It is a state of internal order, a state of coherence and stability and clear communication. It's the quiet, efficient hum of a city that is well built and incredibly well maintained.
And that quiet, powerful state of resilience, it all begins with the choices you make every single day. It begins, quite simply, on your plate.